Part 1. The beginning of Jessica's struggles. Jessica was born in a small, picturesque town surrounded by mountains. Though beautiful, the town offered little opportunity, and most families, including Jessica's, lived in poverty. Her father, a hard-working carpenter, was the heart of their family. Every evening, he would tell Jessica stories of people who overcame struggles and achieved great things. These tales planted the seeds of hope in her young mind. Tragedy struck when Jessica was only 10 years old. Her father passed away in a sudden accident, leaving the family devastated. Overnight, their lives changed. Jessica's mother took up multiple small jobs to provide for her 3 children. As the eldest, Jessica had to grow up quickly, taking care of her younger siblings and helping her mother with household chores. Despite the hardships, Jessica clung to her father's stories. She believed deep down that a better future was possible if she worked hard enough. One cold evening, as Jessica sat in their small, dimly lit kitchen, she made a silent promise to herself. I will find a way to help my family. I will make things better. Jessica's days were filled with struggles. Every morning, she would wake up before dawn to help her mother prepare breakfast and get her siblings ready for school. After that, she would walk to her own school, which was 2 miles away. The journey was tiring, but Jessica enjoyed the quiet moments it offered, giving her time to dream about a better life. In school, she excelled in her studies. Despite the challenges, her teachers often praised her for her dedication and resilience. However, not everyone understood Jessica's struggles. Some classmates teased her for wearing old, patched clothes or bringing simple meals to school. These moments hurt, but Jessica tried to focus on her goals. She reminded herself of her father's words. It's not where you start that matters. It's where you're going. Jessica's mother, despite her own exhaustion, was a constant source of encouragement. Jessica, she would say, you have a light in you. Don't let anyone dim it. One particular winter was especially harsh. The family struggled to keep their home warm with their limited resources. Jessica would often stay up late, knitting scarves and gloves for her siblings. The nights were cold, but her determination burned bright. She knew that every small act of love and sacrifice brought her family closer together. During this time, Jessica found solace in the town's small library. It was a quiet haven where she could escape from her daily struggles. She devoured books about people who had faced adversity and emerged victorious. Each story strengthened her belief that she, too, could overcome her circumstances. One day, while browsing through the shelves, she came across a book titled Dream Big. The book was filled with motivational stories and practical advice on setting goals and working toward them. Jessica borrowed it and read it cover to cover. Inspired, she began writing down her own dreams and plans in a notebook. At the top of the page, she wrote, "Step 1. Find a way to help my family." Jessica's opportunity came sooner than she expected. One evening, as she walked home from school, she noticed a sign on a shop window. "Help wanted." The shop belonged to Mrs. Brown, an elderly woman who was well respected in the community. Jessica had often admired the shop's display of handmade crafts and unique trinkets. Gathering her courage, Jessica stepped inside. The shop was warm and inviting, filled with the scent of freshly baked cookies. Mrs. Brown greeted her with a kind smile. "Hello, dear. How can I help you?" she asked. Jessica took a deep breath. "I saw your sign. I'm looking for a job." Mrs. Brown studied her for a moment. "Why do you want this job, Jessica?" she asked gently. Jessica replied earnestly, "I want to help my family and learn new skills. I may not have much experience, but I'm a fast learner, and I'm willing to work hard." Mrs. Brown's eyes softened. "You remind me of myself when I was your age. The job is yours." Jessica could hardly believe her luck. That evening, she rushed home to share the news with her mother and siblings. Her mother's eyes filled with tears of pride. "Your father would be so proud," she whispered. The next morning, Jessica began her job at the shop. The work was challenging, but rewarding. She cleaned, organized shelves, and assisted customers with a smile. Mrs. Brown, impressed by Jessica's enthusiasm, began teaching her about managing inventory and customer service. Jessica soaked up the knowledge like a sponge. One day, a customer complimented Jessica's politeness and asked Mrs. Brown, "Is this your granddaughter?" "She's wonderful." Mrs. Brown smiled warmly. "No, but she's like family to me." Jessica's confidence grew. With each passing day, she started to believe in her own potential. She also began saving a portion of her earnings to buy small gifts for her family. Her first purchase was a warm Blanket for her mother, who had been braving the cold nights with an old, worn-out one. At school, Jessica's teachers noticed a change in her. She seemed more focused and determined than ever. One teacher, Mrs. Carter, pulled her aside one day. "Jessica, you have a bright future ahead of you. Have you thought about what you want to do after school?" Jessica hesitated. "I've thought about it, but I'm not sure how to make it happen." Mrs. Carter smiled. "Remember, every great journey starts with a single step. Keep working hard, and opportunities will come your way." These words stayed with Jessica. She continued to balance her studies, job, and family responsibilities, driven by the hope that her efforts would lead to a better life. The turning point came when Mrs. Brown introduced Jessica to a regular customer named Mr. Carter, a businessman from the city. Mr. Carter was impressed by Jessica's work ethic and attentiveness. During one of his visits, he asked her, "Have you ever thought about working in the city?" Jessica was taken aback. The city seemed like a distant dream, a place she had only read about in books. "I've thought about it," she admitted. "But my family needs me here." Mr. Carter nodded thoughtfully. "If you ever decide to take the leap, let me know. I see potential in you." That evening, Jessica shared the conversation with her mother. To her surprise, her mother said, "If this is an opportunity for you to grow, we will manage. Your father always wanted you to follow your dreams." Jessica's heart swelled with emotion. She knew the decision wouldn't be easy. But for the first time, she allowed herself to imagine a future beyond the boundaries of her small town. To be continued. Jessica's journey has only just begun. What challenges will she face as she considers taking a leap of faith? Stay tuned for the next chapter of Jessica's journey, where we delve deeper into her inspiring story. Call to action. If you found Jessica's story inspiring, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Join us next time to see how Jessica's courage and determination lead her to new heights. Thank you for watching.